What up, guys? JR Juggernaut1 here with a contest entry for Senor Blanco 88's Langbanging contest. I'm going to be using my Debris Chaos deck as the entry. He just wants us to use a creative, unique deck. I mean, I made this deck on my own with the help of some friends, and it's just pretty original in my opinion. I think it just in how it combines a lot of different types of cards and really makes it into one well-oiled machine. I guess that's the best way of putting it. It might seem kind of lazy that I'm just using a deck I've had and instead of trying to make one, but in all honesty, I really think this is the best deck for me to use because this is going to be the most unique deck I have, and it's just a deck that also represents who I am, like as a player. So this is the deck I'm going to be showing you. If anyone has a problem with that, I really don't care. Okay, so this is basically the deck list. This is what the list was gonna be for when I go to regionals. So yeah, here you guys go. For the monsters, we'll start with like the dark monsters, I guess. First, we have one dark armed and two chaos sorcerers. These guys are probably the most important part of the deck. You want to get these guys out very quickly because they can really get you out of a tough jam. They're like just your best monsters in the entire deck, and they allow you to remove cards from your graveyard to accelerate the deck, and I'll get to why that's so good shortly. We have two Caiuses for simple, removal. You get a lot of field presence, so it's pretty easy to get these guys out. Just awesome. Gores and Dragodia, proxied obviously. Yeah, just letting you guys know right now with the proxies. Once you see the spell trap lineup, you'll understand why I use both of these guys. They're just both really helpful in stopping OTKs and just saving your ass. Two Battle Faders. Battle Fader, just like Gores and Tragodia, it stops your opponent from killing you, simply put. It's also great tribute fodder for Caius. And the last two monsters, we have Sanguine for search power. Sanguine is absolutely ridiculous in this deck because of how many things he can search for. You get him, you're gonna be in a great position. So he's probably one of the best monsters, other than Sorcerer and Dark Arm. And finally, Plague Spreader Zombie, because you'll mill a lot, and this will more than likely get into the graveyard. Now for the light monsters, we have seven. We have two D-Alchemists, two Lilas, two Raikos, and one Effect Veiler. Okay, so basically the Effect Veiler, it's just amazing. I feel like it's pretty much a staple in most decks. The Raikos and the Lilas pretty much used for card destruction, as well as being able to mill, which accelerates the deck. That's part of the idea. That's part of the engine of the deck. You want to mill cards directly to the graveyard, and then that kind of sets up the play for your bigger cards like Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Armed, as well as other monsters. Or you can also, and once your graveyard is filled, you can either remove and recycle with cards like Dimensional Alchemist, and there's other ways of recycling. But yeah, you basically want to either recycle them or put them to good use with cards that require there to be other cards in the graveyard, as I said, like Dark Armed, Chaos Sorcerer, etc. Alchemist is just so broken because the way he lets you take back those cards, though, it's just amazing. Because you can take back something like Chaos Sorcerer or Dark Armed, like you can intentionally remove it from play, and then when it's destroyed, you can just take it back to hand. It's an easy way to recover it. And now for, I guess depends on what you want to call it, the Debris Engine. I wouldn't call it a plant engine. So we got two Dandelions, triple Debris Dragon. This card is absolutely ridiculous because you have many targets in this deck. You can easily get all three out, and he sets up some of the biggest plays in the deck. And finally, Card Trooper, because Card Trooper just goes well with everything, and that's all that needs to be said. For spells, we have triple Book of Moon. Book of Moon, I think, needs to be run in threes. Usually, people are running a lot of Trap Hate. This card is just, perfect. It's a perfect solution. You run 2 Pot of Avarices, I think 3 Clogs, and 2 is just perfect. You can just recycle your cards back in and draw. It just can really, really help you out. Double Enemy Controller. Stops attacks. You can use it to take control of your opponent's monsters with something like a token or battle fader. I mean, it really works. I thought 2 might be too many, but it actually works really nicely. Cold Wave, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, the 3 cards which I think need to be banned, but that's another story. Foolish Burial, you only have 3 targets for this thing, but at the same time, it's too good not to run. Charge the Light Brigade, so you can search for your Lightsworn monsters and really get the mill going. This is actually probably one of the best cards to have opening hand, best spell cards that is, just because you know if you draw this card, you're going to instantly mill plenty of cards, which can set up for your big plays. Allure of Darkness, draw power. You have to run Allure of Darkness, especially when you run Dimensional Alchemist. And lastly, the traps. We have 3 Royal Decree. Personally, I have to give it up to Mega Capital G, who made this suggestion to me, adding the changing up the build so that only traps are 3 Decree. 3 Decree is actually a lot better. This deck is actually more aggressive than I thought it is, so running 3 Decree actually makes more sense. And even if your opponent is running Royal Decree, it doesn't really hurt you that much. It just means that you can side into a few extra traps, but it makes more sense to focus more on your monsters and spells, because I mean, again, it's supposed to be an aggressive deck, so that, you know, other traps kind of seem unnecessary in a way, you know? So that's pretty much the deck. It's, you know, it's probably my favorite deck that I've ever used so far, just because of how much better it is compared to my previous decks. Hope you liked it. It's definitely a unique deck, in my opinion, you know? I haven't really seen anything like it, because, like, as you can see, a lot of different cards are really combined, but it actually works, surprisingly. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, hope you like this video, and I'm out of here, guys.